Hello everybody, welcome to another karting video. We are here in a general session at MSR Houston. It had just finished raining, as you can see from the large amount of puddles and water on the track. Me and my friend had gotten there, probably a good 20-30 minutes before I started recording this. I turned the camera on. They were drying the track off with like blow dryers and whatnot. But we finally got going, and my friend decided to go. I was happy to just stay behind and just wait for the end of the formation lap before we really get going, or the opening lap, I can say. But he decided to go. I didn't want to get left behind, so I started going too. There's a giant puddle, so yeah. Good thing it's on a straight though. If it was mid-turn, that would not be good. And one really big issue with the lap times was this corner here, is it was just slightly damp kind of everywhere, so you couldn't quite really push into it, and the front end of the cart wouldn't really bite. Here I lost the rear a little bit. That's probably because I just don't have the tire temps up quite yet, and it was a little slick there, as you can see. Understeer, still not quite having the tire temperature yet. Heading onto the first real lap, trying to get by this guy here. Not really sure where he was going to go, so just trying to react to him. Going through the first turn nicely, avoiding the puddles, and then heading through this left-hander, which is a little bit trickier than I thought it would be. It's stayed trickier than I thought it would be. But yeah, I mean, it's a good corner. Here they have added some extra concrete on the outside, some extra asphalt, but when you're going in this direction, you don't really use that. I'm tucked up right behind my friend here. I didn't really want to go crazy, like trying to fight him or anything, but he got out of the way, so I just went right on through. I decided to not really pay attention to the quote-unquote track limits, because I mean, you don't get pinged or anything, and it doesn't invalidate your lap. So if you wanna cut that chicane a little bit, you can. And then here, pushing right out to the edge of track and cutting the curb a little bit. I'm not sure if that does anything time-wise, but I decided to do it. And then heading into this first turn, you can't really see it, but I do lock the rear crazy style, which is something I ended up doing quite a bit in this one session. Clambering over the curves. And this curb right here, you would be able to take a little more in terms of length, like drive over it more, but if you drive over too much of it, there is a dip, and it will mess up the balance of the cart, and so it's best to just avoid it and not worry about it. I have kind of lost my friend a little bit. I'm a good second and a half ahead of him here, I think. And then heading through here, I'm not really attacking the curb like crazy, which is what you would normally do in a league session, or like a good dry session. Here, kind of pushing the entry into the bank turn, and then not going as tight as possible. Going through there, you want to use the brakes to rotate the cart and kind of get it to a snap almost, going over the hump. It's a pretty fun corner. You do come in kind of fast, and turned at the same time, so you really gotta commit to it, otherwise you're just gonna mess up or go off or something, or lock the rears. Heading into this hairpin, which whenever I first started going here absolutely killed me, because I didn't have the confidence to just send it into the corner, not worry about whether or not I was going to stick it or not. I don't know. There was a guy that spun up here. I saw him. That's why I put my hand up, and then there he is. Poor guy. And then getting going here again. once again kind of pushing the entrance out, because the track was, I don't know if I've mentioned it or not, the track is slightly damp. So if you turned in too early, then you would risk losing the rear tires, which is generally not a good thing. And then here, you don't want to get right up close to the barriers that they have out there, because there is, once again, a little bit of unevenness there. As we get onto our first back marker of the day, I was thinking about going left, then he went left, so I went right. Pretty much bounced over that curb. And then we're coming up on a big group here. A little bit of oversteer into the corner, so I had to correct that. And going the long way around the puddle this time. Rising up the speed. That doesn't make sense. Heading into this fast chicane. I know people, I don't want to say like commoners, but the not regulars, they don't really push like the limits of what's possible to do. They just kind of like glide through. So I knew I'd catch up to the next guy pretty quick. And then that's kind of the same deal here. Really taking that hump. I applaud that guy. I salute him also for not being in the way, which is generally something you want to do when there's a faster person pushing you. Coming up on 2 more guys, and then once again locking the rears. I was braking less and less and less each time, slightly less, mind you, but then here I just sent it. I just hoped he wouldn't cut across and try and get on the curb. But into turn 1, I was braking slightly less and slightly less and slightly less, and it was still locking each and every time, so I didn't really know what to do. Here, I didn't want to like bump draft him, because I don't really go wheel to wheel like that. But we are wheel to wheel, going into the worst place to go wheel to wheel into. But I get it done. Moving up the lapped counter. A little bit of oversteer there, but all good. Getting over the curb on the left, snapping the cart to the right. Getting on the power nice and early. Straight lining the curb. Sounds like purple to me. Somebody spun back there. I don't think I saw it the first time, but I just saw it in the video. And then coming up on yet another back marker. This was not really a good place to catch them. Kind of in this first sector, so to speak. But went around the outside, just hoped he wouldn't try and cut me off, and it worked. And then up here we have a poor fellow who spun and got stuck, so I slowed right on down. Make sure I wasn't going to run anybody over. I am going to count that as a lapped counter, because I'm ahead of him, but not to a lack of skill, I don't think. As you can see, if you look at the clouds, it is just cloudy. It's not really rainy or anything. It doesn't look like rain. There's that one little cloud over on the right there, but it doesn't look like it's gonna pour and piss rain. But that's exactly what happened, actually. My friend and I had bought 2 sessions, and so when we went, we were expecting to do 2 sessions, and then we got through this session. Then after this session, we hung around for a little bit and then waited to line up for the next session. We got lined up, and then it started out of nowhere absolutely pouring rain. So they gave it a minute, see if it would lighten up or anything, but to no avail. So they just closed it down for a little bit. So we left. We didn't have too much time, so we just skedaddled on out of there. And coming up to where they cleared the guy on the last lap. Make sure nobody's in the middle of the track. We're all good there. My friend I have lost him. He isn't behind me anymore. He's that's him over there. No, he must be a little bit closer than that guy. But he did end up spinning at some point. Here's another guy. He did end up spinning at some point, which obviously lost him a whole bunch of time. We were gonna try and stick close to each other, but that ended up not working. A lot of hump on that one. Jeez. I think that was him over there. You know, my grip on my hand, I don't know if it's me just getting weaker or the fact that my glove is wearing out, but I have, like, watching these playbacks, I have noticed that I kind of have to shake my hand out a lot more than I used to, anyway. Like, during the league races I did. I don't think I ever really shook my hand out, but now, like, I'll get, like, thumb cramps. Jeez, I'll get thumb cramps. Just general achiness. The puddle has gone down a little bit, and if you look at the track, it looks hot in some areas. Like, it looks like it's drying up, but it's not. And it's going to get a lot worse in about 8 minutes. Going through the high-speed chicane here. Yep. This guy kindly gets out of the way. Salute to him. But he is locked down. I think it was that guy who I ended up talking to, waiting for the next session. Super nice guy. Real chill. Yeah. I think all of the people, there were 10 of us. It was me. There's another guy lapped down, but thankfully I could just skirt on by him. There were 10 of us here at the track during this session. So it was me, my friend. So there's 8 others, and then I think the nice guy I just talked about, and then he was with somebody. So that's 4. So the other 6 were all part of a party or get together or something or other. Yeah. But the worst thing that I've ever seen happened. They gave us the wrong carts. So each cart has its own number. As I attack the curbs there, each cart has its own number, and they had us sit in the wrong carts. So I was in somebody else's cart. So the time I won the session, because I lapped everybody except one person, and it said I was 8th. No. So, and then my friend was also in the wrong cart, and he was like 10th or something. As we get by one last guy to bring the lapped counter up to 11. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you all think about the commentary. Forgive me if I sounded sick, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.